In the last video, we saw how we could use an external function to set up an overloaded plus operator that will work with objects, not just things like ints, floats, and doubles, things like that. Instead of just the primitive data types, you can also use the plus operator to add objects. So let's take a quick look at that. The book starts out with showing you how to do this with an external function that is not a member function. I'm going to show you how to do it with a member function. So once again, just to review what we saw in the last video, with an external operator or external function that implements the plus operator, you need two operands, but for the member function or member operator, you just need one operand because one of the operands is going to be the class itself. So let's take a look at this. How do we do this in C++? So the idea is that you want, let's say you have a simple class, and I've just set up a class called ABC. Let's save it. Very simple. It has two constructors, two getters for the two data members. So there's two data members, an int and a double in the private section. I have a set of public methods, including two constructors, the get for the int and the get for the double, and then a destructor, which we haven't talked about, but we don't have to worry about it right now. And as we saw before, we can set up methods or set up member functions to be inline. That is, we define the method or function body right in the class declaration itself, or we can set up a .cpp file. I hope everybody's comfortable with doing that, in which you put in all the method bodies. And remember, with constructors, you don't have to have much of a method body if you use this initialization section. Use these initializers. So for example, the default constructor will just initialize both of those data members, the int and the double, to 0. However, you can overload the constructor to have two parameters, one for each data member, and initialize them. In this case, the int I that's passed in is used to initialize the int data member, and the d, that's the double that's passed in, is used to initialize the double data member. Okay, so that's good. Simple class. And let's just run a simple program where we set up two objects. Remember that when you use the default constructor, you don't need parentheses, but when you use an overloaded constructor, you do need the parentheses and the required number of arguments. All right, so let's compile this. I think it was already compiled. Let's just go ahead and do it. Nope, it's still compiling. Okay, and let's run it to make sure it all works. Okay, so I set up two objects, one with 5 and 12.3, the other one with 3 and 21.5, and I print them out using the get methods. Okay, so here's what we want to do. Right, so we want to set up ABC object called C, and we want to say that C is equal to A plus B. So of course right now this does not work. So if we try to save this and compile it, we'll get error messages. Okay, so there they are, error messages. What does it say? It says no match for operator plus. So it's kind of hard to see, but the actual error is no match for operator plus in A plus B. So it's saying you cannot add two objects because there's no such operator defined. Of course, in Java, we cannot do such things. The only thing we can do in Java is when you add two things, you might be able to convert objects to strings, and then you can concatenate strings. That's about it. You can't actually create a new object based on the sum of two other objects. You can only create strings. That's the most you can do. All right, so we know that this is what we want, and let's just say once we get what we want to print out the result. C.get I, and once everything works, it should have the right sums. C.get D. So the natural thing to do with the plus operator for objects, let's say we have two objects, each with two data members, an int and a double. The natural thing to do would be to add up the int parts and add up the double parts. Of course, that's not the only option, but that would be like a simple thing that sort of makes sense. So once everything works, this should print out for c.get I, it should print out 5 plus 3 is 8, and for the double part of the C object, we should print out 33.8. That's just the sum of these two things. Okay, so how do we do this? So let's take a look at the .cpp class and the .h class. First, probably we should change something in here. We have to add a new method or member function, and this is what it should look like. So we should have, it should return an ABC object, and we'll change a lot of these things. This is just a simple version to get us started. There's quite a few things that we would want to change. So we have to say ABC operator plus. So this is saying that we're going to have a member function that's an operator, and this is the operator, that's the plus. Now remember, plus is a binary operator. The way we think about it is A plus B. The first operand, that is A, is the object that's the instance of this ABC class itself. So we only need one operand in this case. So this is different from the book in that we are going to use, you're going to set up a member function, and when we set up a member function for the plus operator, we only need one operand because the left operand is this itself, this object. Okay, so in the end, this is like calling A dot plus and then in parentheses B. So I'll just write it out over here. This is like saying A dot plus. This is not valid syntax, but this is what we are trying to do. Okay, so this is why the plus operator, when you use it as a member function, has only one operand, because the other operand is the object whose plus operator you're calling. Okay, so this will all make sense as you do a few of these. It'll make sense. If it's a little bit confusing, that's okay. So here's the basic idea. You want to have one operand, and it's called ABC. Of course, if you remember from a couple of videos ago, we looked at efficiency and we decided, well, if we're going to add two things, we don't want to change this, whatever's in here. So we'll make this const, and we will use a call by reference. So this will make everything much more efficient. We don't have to do it, but almost always this is what you will see. So you just want to get used to this this trend or this pattern. Now the other thing is you want to say, usually you want to say that this is going to return const, and we'll talk about more of this later. And there's one more thing that we would want to change, and for now I'm going to leave it and not make that change, but this is the basic idea. We defined a member operator or member function, that's the plus, which takes one parameter. The other operator, the other operand for the plus operator is this object itself, and it will return an object of the same type. Alright, so now what we want to do is we copy this, let's save this, and we define a new member function in the .cpp file. This is where the method body will go, and of course, probably remember, you need the class name ABC, and it goes here when you have an operator. So it goes before the operator, not after the operator. Okay, after the keyword operator. And now we just have to do a simple return statement. Say return, and here we use the constructor. So this is basically how the standalone operator worked too. The example in the book for the money class, same way, pretty much. And so here what we're going to do is we're going to add the int data member of the current class. So remember, there's an int data member called idata. We're going to add that to the int data member of the right operand, op.idata. All right, and we're going to add the double data member plus the double data member of the operand, the right operand. So remember, for a plus operator, there's two operands, left and right. The left one is the current class, its current object itself. So we could say this dot. That would be the same thing. So we're adding the idata member of this plus the idata member of the op object, ddata member of this plus the ddata member of the op object. And we're pretty much done. So let's save this. See if we can compile it. Okay, so we got an error message. Where is our error message? Oops, there it is. Forgot one semicolon. Let's take a look at the messages. This is kind of helpful. It said error expected a semicolon. Okay, good. So that's actually, this one's not so bad. Sometimes error messages are not that great. Okay, so let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, forgot. I'm forgetting my semicolons today. Save that. Okay, looks like it worked. I'm going to save this and recompile just in case I missed something. I didn't, I think. And we'll run this. And if everything works, we got the sum. So this is A, this is B, and this is C, has the sum 5 plus 3, and 12.3 plus 21.5 is 33.8. So there's a simple use of a member operator. So it's just like a member function. Basically, it's a member function. And this is how we want to set this up. There's one more change that we would make, but I'm not going to go into it right now. We'll do that in a little bit, but this will work. Okay, so here's the member function. Here's the body of the member function. Just a simple return statement. Of course, we could have broken it down into steps, but I think it's better to just do it all in one statement in this case. And then here's how we use it. Now we're adding objects. So that's the nice thing that we can get with C++, that we cannot get with Java. You can just add objects and it gives you another object as a result. Okay, so I would definitely recommend that you try this out. Set up a plus operator, a minus operator. Make sure you can do that. Maybe multiply and divide too. And you can define it to do whatever you want.